Hello,
Hi, and welcome to Pendulum Swings Conversation. This is Lynette,
and this is your co-host Samara.
and today we will be talking about relationships with children. I don't know what the hell we.
Wait. Let it play. Cause you know what? Let's just go with the flow. Let's just go with the flow. You know what I've been thinking about lately? I actually
What?
thought about it today. So, you know when we first started, recording and everything, like we would come on and we would say, ask how our week was going and this and the other. And to me, like now we are like, what are we gonna talk about? Get it there, talk about it, and let's go. And it's like we're not really giving them what we've always wanted to give them. Like just pure, genuine, you know, who we are. And so I was like, you know what? I think I want to talk about that today. Just have like a heart to heart conversation, just about anything. And one of the things was that I felt like we were just always like, oh, we gotta find out a date. We gotta do this. We gotta edit. We gotta do this. And then we lost that part of. So, Larissa, Lynette, how did your week go?
Right.
So let me ask you this: how did your week go, Larissa, Lynette?
It was good. It was good. I can't complain. We've been real busy. People got them stimulus checks, so they coming in paying their bills. So we were pretty busy at the job. Weekend went by too fast. What about yours?
Girl, weekend goes by too fast every weekend, especially the ones when I'm off, like this one. I think I slept majority of my weekend away, and I was not productive at all. I didn't do a thing.
I think they need to make 3-day weekends and 4-day work week. I don't know who came up with the 5 and 2. I just feel like that's not fair. I would love to have a 3 and 4. That
And
sounds
guess,
like it make more sense.
and guess what? It still ain't gonna be enough.
You're right, but it'll help.
Cause I'm out tomorrow. And I'm like, dang.
Yeah, it'll help though. I tell you. But you're right. It's like we'll never be satisfied, but it'll help me a little bit. But check this out. So I was on IG and it was actually on the Shade Room. They posted this. This guy wrote, "As a man with no children, I prefer a woman with no children. If that makes me a bad guy, oh well." And guess who I thought about?
What?
I remember us having this conversation, and I remember you, because you don't have any children. Some of them may
Mhm.
know or may not know, um, and that was your biggest thing. You did not want them to have any children. And I don't think, because I know you love kids, I don't think it really has anything to do with because you just don't want them to have children. I think it's just the thought of like a baby mama and baby mama drama, just what goes on with it in some situations. Um, but is that something that I don't think you feel that way anymore, but I know at one point you did.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. However, you just answered it for me. You didn't even give me a chance to say it, but you're pretty right. You're pretty accurate. That was the old me. Um, Now that I have encountered some guys with children, and some people actually have it together. Some guys actually have it together when it comes to being in a relationship with somebody with, just period, and you having to deal with your kids and your child's mother. Um, I think the first experience that I had was uh, the guy had a child, and every time it was time for us to do something, it was like they didn't have a set time for to balance out their life, like if they're in a relationship. And so we would be about to do something, or we had to, or we would meet up somewhere. He would have to go get the kid, it was just, or either he had his kid spending time with us. And at that moment, I couldn't see the positive aspect of that, because I was just, by myself in my own world. And so when something or someone that I love, they're like, I gotta get my child, or my child gonna chill with us this weekend, or it just kind of put me in a bad space. Then it kind of made me feel unwanted, you know what I'm saying? Or I feel like you putting your child before me, which that should be the case. But when you're dating, to me, and how I felt back then, that you should be able to balance it. That if you're gonna have time with me, that is my time. When you have time with your child, that is their time. Then when you want to have time with us, then that'll be our time. Not we're doing our time, and then your baby mother calling, can you just come get her so I can go do XYZ? That just put me in a bad space. But now I notice that there's a difference when a man becomes a father versus you dealing with a guy with no children. It's something, I really can't put my finger on it, but it's something that happens to a man when he becomes a father. Especially if he's active in their life.
Okay, so is it fair to say it was a little bit of selfishness on your part?
Absolutely. A little bit of selfishness, and not looking into my reality of how my dad was with me.
So let me ask you this. The guy that you were dealing with, was this his first child?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so maybe it could have been a little bit of, they didn't know how to make it work either. Being a first-time dad, it's something that you have to learn too. It's not something that I guess I want to say, you have to learn how to co-parent. And maybe they weren't there yet, with the co-parenting and the and just, you take them this week, I'll have them this week, and maybe they weren't there, so
yeah. And I mean, that very well could be it. But what I also think too, a lot of these guys are scared of CS.
Okay.
They're scared of child support. And which I don't understand why, because if you had the child with you all the time, you'll spend more than what you're court ordered to spend. Because you have to make sure that child has a bedroom. So your rent is gonna go up. You can't pay for a 1-bedroom apartment. You're gonna have to get something big enough, a house or whatever, for that child to to have room, have a place to lay their head.
Right.
They're gonna spend more money on electricities, on utilities, on electricity, water, that kind of stuff. They're gonna eat more, what I'm saying? You're gonna have to pay for them to eat every day, whether you buy groceries or if you're going somewhere to eat, you got to get them something too. So to me, I think, that's one thing they really shouldn't be scared of. Hell, put your own self on child
Right.
support.
And I think it's just supposed to be for the people that don't do that. Some people, I think they just use it just to say you're gonna get money, but I feel like
Hello?
yeah. Um.
I rebuke you, Satan.
Okay, I have to trim. I had to trim that part out. Braylon just came up here, but you know, a lot of times, um, like I had a guy friend. He with his ex-wife that went through a separation, and so he was paying her a certain amount of money, and he said he went through the child support calculator, and he was paying her 200-300 more than what he did for him for his salary. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
he was getting them every other weekend, which he still would have to put out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And she understood that I ain't gonna put my ex-husband on child support because he's good to me. And see, I think it's made for people that won't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then you have those females that they're gonna do it. They can be doing that, but they still want to take on the child support court. But I respect the guy that can honestly do that and keep up with it and not have to be in child support court. You know, that's a blessing to have to do. But I want to go back to what we were talking about as far as I know we've had this discussion before as far as men and kids, and I was the opposite because here I am, I have children, so I kind of wanted him to have children because he would understand the dynamic of me having kids, him having kids. My biggest issue was I didn't want young kids. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would not want to date somebody with a 1 or 2 year old because it's too fresh. And although you may say, okay, we've broken up, it's still it's too new.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would prefer kids to be 6, 7, 8 and older. But I was okay because I understood getting out here in the day scene again as my age. I understood I most likely will have some because of the age that I am. You know, I'm 42. So, you know, for me to meet a man now, he's probably going to have kids. If he doesn't, I don't know. It'll make me feel some type of way too.
But what's so funny is that when that you was talking about just now, that if the child is young, you dating that person, you feel like that relationship could go back to, like he could go back to her because the child is young.
Not really go back. As far as being in a relationship, but
What the hell you mean?
what I mean is go back as in because I'm comfortable here. This is the norm for me. Basically what I want to say, a lot of times you don't just cold turkey somebody. You gradually, and you might still be going back and forth messing with that person. You know? And I'm not saying that the person is trying to make them their woman or their man again, but they might still dibble and dabble because it's so normal for them in the relationship they have.
Okay, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit. So, say for instance, you got a boyfriend. He has a 13-year-old child, but the relationship stopped with the mother maybe a year prior to that. Maybe when the child was 12. It's the same thing. So I don't think it has anything to do with the child age, being that the child is young, 2 or 3. I think the the main part of that is if you're just getting out of the relationship and you have a child.
Yeah, I agree with that. But that particular moment, talking about children, I would feel the same
Right.
way.
So that's what I'm saying. You said because of the child young age, a 1 or 2 year old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's the difference if he was with the child's mother up until the child was 13 and then got with you like a year later?
It's no different.
It's still fresh.
Yeah,
The
it's no
breakup,
different.
because I really don't think it has anything to do with the child's age. I think it has to do with the man and his relationship. How long has he been out of that relationship? Is there a possibility that y'all could get back together? Not because the child is 2 or the child is 1, but it's about the relationship with him and the child's mother. If you thought it was early enough, not to get in a relationship, not the child's age.
Yeah, but what I was saying was we were talking about children. This particular case, I was talking about a child. They're not in a relationship any longer. I knew your but y'all are not very hesitant. And also, if I meet you and you're just breaking up a year ago, it's the exact same feeling. But at that particular moment, we were just talking about the child, and I was using one reason, but talking about now we're talking about something different. Now you had
You're breaking up a lot.
if the child was younger.
You break.
Okay, what about now?
Hello. Yeah.
If the child was older, but they had just stopped the relationship, it wouldn't. It would be because they had just broken up. So it's basically the same thing. I was only talking about a particular part because we were talking about children and that aspect. But I feel the same way. If you just broke up with somebody a year ago, that's still fresh. There might be chances. I'm not saying that I wouldn't talk to you, but I would definitely probably have my guard up, because you never know. People, I don't want to be nobody's I don't want to be nobody's, what you call that thing?
Old faithful.
No, you get out of a relationship and you just go to the next rebound, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to be anybody's rebound, and that's how I would have to play it, even though it could be completely finished. But just to protect myself and my heart, I would definitely have to have my guard up until I feel like, okay, this is, and you go by your feeling. You kind of know, even if what he's saying, of course, we know to look at action. You can tell me anything, So that's where I'm at with things like that. I just a lot of times with baby mama drama. I think the only time that you get real bad baby mama drama is when I feel either the guy is not doing the things he should do as far as putting the woman first and not your children, and with one or the other still wanting the other person. And those are that a lot of times, because if everybody's moved on with their life, easy breezy, it's kind of like, because I'm the bomb. at that. Cause I don't want no drama, you know. I'm not saying it wasn't drama, but at the end of the day, that's not what I'm trying to have around my kids to a certain extent, you know.
Yeah,
But
I get it. I think my parents, they did pretty well co-parenting as far as balancing other relationships,
hmm
and of course, having me. My mom was never the type to call him every 5 minutes, and my dad, vice versa. you know
right, right. And you have to know when, and especially if they have somebody, if they're married or they have somebody, you have to have respect too. I understand that if it's not life or death, it can wait until the morning. You have to think
Mhm.
about things like that. A lot of people don't care, but
Mhm.
I was never that type. You need to come over here, and you need to come pick them up. I was never that type. But you have those ones that are,
Mhm.
and that's the one that I would hate to have to be around, because it feels more deeper than a child. Like, you know.
You know what? My other reservations about being with a man with a child is that, okay, what happens when if your child disrespects me?
Mhm.
Um, that has always been my fear too, because I'm not going to let your child disrespect me,
Of course, of course.
especially if he's not saying anything and I'm stuck here with your child. Because it's been times where with my stepmother, it was always just me and her. Sometimes my dad would be working, and so I spent more time with her than I did with my dad in a certain season of my life, because my dad was in his season where he's working. So if if I have your child most of, and your child disrespects me, then it's like, how do you handle that? Especially if it's like repeatedly, like more than one instance where, okay, now I've already told you that your child doing X, Y, Z.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, it should be the parents, the mother. She should already instill in her, regardless of what's going on. You respect her regardless. I don't care what's going on. You keep that respect because you are a child. You know. And I feel like the dad should also say something. But if you're being disrespected, I don't feel like it's a problem with you telling the child, please don't um speak to me that way. I'm your elder stepmom, or whatever. It's all in how you say things, you know. Um that's deep though, because that's messed up a lot of relationships,
Yeah,
children, and
because like, even if, like, a lot of times you could raise a child a certain way. Because I can even say with me, it's some things that I shouldn't have been doing, but I did the opposite when my parents wasn't in the picture.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like, because I know there were times that I was very disrespectful to my my stepmother, and she had to get me together because I kept pushing the envelope. Nobody wasn't saying anything, and I kept pushing the envelope. And one day she went off on me so bad, I was like, "Oh my God, is she gonna hit me?" And so at that point, then I understood. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because you treat people how to treat you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then just like, like with Kurt Franklin, with his situation where he said, look, I know I said some things that wasn't right, but this is what we went through. We even went through counseling, this, that, and the other, and we clearly heard on the recording how his son was disrespecting um Kurt Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
And so like people get to a certain level because it's only so much that you can take, and then you blow up, and then
Right.
then people looking at you like, oh, you're abusing my child, oh, you doing this and doing that. And then that's when the baby mama drama come into play. So I said I would never want to do that because I want nobody's child to disrespect me, and I'm not gonna let you do it.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So that was like, I think the fear behind of what I used to do had kind of like revisited me, when I got into a relationship with a man with children.
That's something taught with the mom. If the mom is giving off or what she did, what she be dressing like that in front of, speaking that way of the other woman that way, I think that rubs off on the child. If you the tone that you're not gonna be talking to her crazy, you're not gonna, if she tell you to do something, do it, whatever. You have to set the tone with your children, because my children have a stepmother. I always set the tone of respect, regardless. Incident, I don't care. You still carry that respect. If something goes down, you let your dad. But you never show disrespect towards her, and I do that all the time. And that's where you have to let them know. You can't tell your kids, if she say something, you say something back. You can do that, because you're gonna be when she go off and snatch your child up because you done told him there and get bucked stuff you don't like.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And
so,
girl, but it has been a great show. I've learned a whole lot about how you which I'm happy that you have thought differently, because I know you was but I know you loved kids. I just know you just didn't want the drama. But
right.
But I hope you all have a blessed week, and we will see you next week. Have a wonderful night.
God bless you. Good night.